Joining us now with stories trending around the world is Wimbai Mutinhiri Ekwenyong, who I see is also trying to prepare for Valentine's Day. Although I reminded you yesterday that some people should wait for Mother's Day.
Mother's Day, Valentine's Day, Daughter's Day, Women's Day. I
have a very quick question. Pray tell Dr. Bata, tell us, why should some people wait for Mother's Day when tomorrow is Valentine's Day?
No, I've made the point that love and unity to all of us in Nigeria. The story you want to find out. I told you people yesterday to go and investigate. What is the day for Valentine? What is the day for mothers? But don't worry, Mother's Day is next month.
It's coming. Good morning.
Valentine's Day
in advance.
We love love.
Yes, we love love. I've even practiced my fake surprise face when I get my flowers. Wow, what a nice surprise. Flowers. I practiced it.
Well done.
Roofing fire. Valentine's is coming.
We
will be your valet.
Where is your boyfriend?
We will be. We are all Valentines here together in the spirit of love and unity.
I'll send you flowers tomorrow.
You send me flowers?
Yes.
I buy flowers every time.
It doesn't matter. It's valid. I'll send you tomorrow.
Well, on that note, let's kick off what's trending today. We begin with developments from our reportage yesterday on the Minister of Works, Dave Umahi's budget defense session at the National Assembly. Minister Umahi held a press briefing to address concerns around the recent flooding of the brand new Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway, as well as concerns raised after Senator Adams Oshiomhole posed questions about the contract for the Abuja-Kaduna Road allegedly being granted to Mikano. Well, in his briefing, he shed light on the fact that the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway had flooded due to vandalism and littering, whilst he clarified that no contract has been awarded to Mikano after all, but that the contract for the Abuja-Kaduna Road was awarded to InfoWest.
And so the flooding of the coastal highway was because that our underground channel were blocked with refuse. And this is the basic reason why we even have flooding in most cases in Lagos, where people carry their daily refuse and then put it inside the manhole. I think the public has a duty to, checkmate these things. There's no Mikano here. I've met with these three owners of the company. However, whether it's Mikano that is doing the job or it's not doing the job, the important thing is the job being done? And so the bottom line is that there is no Mikano in what we are doing.
All right. Well, I think we have to commend the minister for practicing accountability in action. And it was good to see that there was this clarification made on the issue of contracts awarded. And it was also positive to see that there's accountability around why that road was flooding, even though we all sort of had our own theories around it. This is what he has said. And, well, we hope that it will be addressed before the rainy season sets in.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll be very quick. I agree with you, Wimbai, and I think I've said it before on this table that Minister Umahi is actually one of the few ministers who actually engages. Hate him or love him, I give that to him. He is able, almost immediately, he called a press conference to address some of the issues. I'm not sure if it addressed the specific issues. I'm not sure. But the fact that in the spirit of accountability and transparency, he came out, I give him kudos for that. There are some ministers who are unable to defend the ministries that they sit over. There are some ministers who are unable, who we've never even seen once come to defend anything or present anything. So consistently, Minister Dave Umahi keeps doing that. Now, to what he said, I don't know how to explain refuse, but that's part of the planning we're talking about around if you're building or constructing a road. You should know the kind, you would have done a survey, you'd have done you'd have done a risk assessment, what are some of the risks associated, and surely in Lagos State, you know that we have a refuse challenge currently, that's still being managed. So you should have put that into account. I thought that Dr. Bati's explanation was even known better and he should have just adopted that
Yeah, I've
around.
adopted
Yeah, I
it.
thought it was better around, it's
Need a
still
better
work
PR
in
job for
progress. I thought, I mean, for me, I felt that was okay. That was a good, reason. It's still work in progress. It's not done. I recall that over the Christmas period, to ease traffic congestion in Lagos, they opened up the road temporarily, even though it wasn't done. That made sense. Okay, since you are still on it, so when you finish, let it be part of what you have done. So saying that refuse, for me, there's refuse everywhere. That's what we're complaining about that I want to fix. So since this is after the fact, it ought to have been part of his plans to do that. With his explanation around InfoWest, again, a good response to that. But I think there's still a bit of opaqueness around the tender process. Yes, I agree when he keeps saying, it's the quality of the work is good. But Vimbai, if you do quality work for me that's meant to cost me 20K and you do it for 100K, it's quality work, but you're still ripping me off. I'm not saying this is what happened, but I'm saying that's why Nigerians want to understand the details of the process.
Absolutely. On the refuse, I think Lagos State might have to also step in on that, because the refuse may not entirely be for Ministry of Works. Rufai, very quickly before we move on.
So like Ayo said rightly, I think all of this should go into the planning of the road. And I think it's a bad omen for us to celebrate people that normally are supposed to be accountable to us. And because they respond and they try to hold themselves accountable, we should celebrate. I think it's part of those celebrations that kills this country. Because you know what you are doing. You've destroyed accountability. You've said that it's not necessary. Is it free money that he used to call the press conference? It's not taxpayers' money. So if he has to use taxpayers' money, that is spend half the day mentioning Rufai Osini, then. But let me go ahead with my point, Vimbai. Please, I have a right of reply. Anyway, I will not use it on him today. But please, we are not dumb. When we ask for accountability questions, we deserve accountability. Whatever company you are saying is doing that project, what was the tender process? You should openly show us a public tender, the process it went through to arrive at that company. That's just what I want, for the sake of transparency. I don't have qualms with him.
No,
That's just it. That's just it. And he has not still answered the question. Unlike the claim that he said he answered that question that day. You know what I did yesterday? I watched the over 13 to 14 minutes interplay. On that same day, he didn't even answer the question also.
Okay.
All he just said was, after Rigma ruling and said, I don't have this on my list, like the same thing he said, talked about the InfoWest. Then he went ahead to say, come and, inspect the project. Come with your people to come and inspect the project. As regards, that's even a silly excuse as regards drainage. Not to say people should pour drainage into manholes. But, so is it that they don't have people that are constantly seeing those manholes and cleaning the drains from them?
Again, that might be a Lagos State conversation.
Yeah.
Dr. Abati, can we move on?
I already provided an explanation yesterday, and it was good to see the minister reiterating some of the things I said. I had made a point about InfoWest and that Meccano was not involved and that he was saving cost, and that, Oshomole senator saying that Meccano is not a construction company. I already provided all that explanation yesterday. And I said, if you check the profile of Meccano, it is even, interestingly enough, an international system that has a construction company. And as for the road, over 700 kilometers of Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, it's still a project.
A coastal highway.
Ongoing. And you have mangroves, you have forests, you have the Atlantic Ocean. In fact, on some parts, when you get to a place they label Channel 34, the Atlantic, you could even trek into the ocean, close to that location. So there will be these challenges until they complete the project, which has an 8-year, timeline, and then we see the quality of it. But this debate is useful. It means that the people are concerned.
Yes.
And it also means that the people are asking questions.
Yes.
And it's the responsibility of those in charge to respond to some of the queries that are raised. But the basic point is about getting the right information, and making informed commentary.
Okay.
That is what is important on both sides.
All right, we'll continue to engage. It's about engagement as well, and the spirit of engagement, I think, is what I want to make sure is on the front burner today, so that we know that it should not be and is not a personal exchange, but professionals from different parts of the industry and different parts of the economy holding each other to account. Very important. But that's why I say that it is not personal. On this table, it's not personal.
Tell him to stop mentioning my name.
But let's move on, because budget defense season does continue. And yesterday, Chairman of INEC, Professor Joash Amupiton, had his turn in the hot seat, armed with an 873.7 billion naira proposal for the upcoming polls and a 171 billion naira budget for 2026 operations for INEC. Now, this amount excludes a request for a wage increase for NYSC corpers who will be deployed as ad hoc staff. So the budget breakdown is as follows. I'll go through it very quickly. 379.748 billion for operational expenses, 92.317 for administrative costs, over 200 billion, for technology, over 154 billion for capital expenditure, and 42.6 billion for miscellaneous items. Well, on the 2026 budget, 109 billion is for personnel costs, 18.7 billion for overheads, and 42.6 billion for election-related activities. And then there's this 1.4 billion naira for capital projects. Now, while social media, of course, is agog with reactions to these huge numbers, Senator Adams Oshomole could not hold back his concerns in the session as he looked at the budget breakdown and queried why INEC needs budget to build clinics.
Why do you have to have your INEC hospital? Do you have INEC special disease? I don't think so. Because these are areas we can avoid so that you focus on your core mandate. Your core mandate is not medicine. It's not healthcare. That is the mandate of the Ministry of Health. And if INEC people in Abuja needs quality healthcare and you think you are not getting it, we talk to the Minister of Health.
All right, now we're going to look at some social media reactions. This is what some people posted on X. They said, yes, the bulk may be justified. Inflation, fuel prices tripled, naira devaluation, logistics have gone up since 2023. Cumulative price increase from early 2023 to early 2026 should be analyzed over 4 years. Tobal also posted a tweet and said, well, this is a smart estimation of what is possible to be spent per polling unit. INEC's proposed 873.78 billion naira budget for the 2027 elections equates to roughly 4.94 million naira per polling unit across Nigeria's 176,846 polling units. You know, when you break it down to that figure, it's quite something. And, you know, we also created a graphic that takes a look at other countries that have similar populations to Nigeria, Brazil, Pakistan, and so forth. And Nigeria's expenditure is still way higher than some of these other countries. Ayo, I'll come to you. Some of the justifications they're saying, they need to upgrade software. They need to tighten cyber security, given what happened last time. But people are saying, well, number one, the electronic transmission hasn't been passed. And we don't know when it will be passed, when it will be harmonized. Will INEC release its timetable before that happens? Meaning, will this electronic transmission actually apply for the upcoming elections? Because we're getting very close to the deadline, but we have this budget anyway.
It's quite an expensive budget, especially for a process that a number of Nigerians have criticized in the past. However, the reasons given for the upgrade of the IT by Professor Mupiton is to move away from the technical glitches. But Vimba, how do we fix an issue, a challenge, where we haven't even gotten a report as to what happened in the last election? Don't forget that following that election and the technical glitch, we've been asking questions. What were the technical glitch? What were the challenges? What was the extent? For you to be able to fix a problem, do you not need to understand the problem in the first instance to know how much money is meant to go into upgrading BVAS IREV? And I also asked the question earlier that if the new, the electoral amendment bill of 2026 does not make transmission or what is on the IRF portal justiciable? It's just a viewing portal. Should we spend that amount of money to upgrade or we wait until we're able to sort that part or move to e-voting before we begin to talk about spending, especially where we're trying to manage resources, spend that amount of money on, an effort that is just ceremonial at best? That's another question I asked. Then I also asked, yes, and with regards to the justification, the first post was quite correct. We've seen Naira devaluation up to 66.3% from 2023 during the last elections. The percentage increase from the last budget, the money expended in the 2023 elections to now is 64.13%. So you can see the differences. And when you talk about Naira devaluation, you talk about increased expenses, you can understand the justification. But are elections too expensive for Nigerians? I end on the point of value for money. If we're going to spend this amount of money, and like you already identified, comparable to other elections run in countries that have similar population size, it's quite expensive. Do we even get the value for the money? So we keep talking about more allocation going to logistics and administration, yet every election cycle, they get to the polling units late. Election materials arrive late. We have issues around logistics. Is that value for money? We're talking about money for infrastructure. We don't want to hear of another technical glitch or the fact that we couldn't use beavers in certain polling centers because some things were not working. So you understand what I mean by when we say that, okay, we're spending so much money, but we cannot see the results. And finally, let the election that we're spending so much money on not end in litigation and court cases and courts deciding at the end of the day, after spending such amounts of money by INEC, to prosecute an election.
Before you go on, a detailed breakdown of INEC's budget is notoriously very difficult to get. And, obviously the lawmakers have access to that. Hospitals, and Senator Oshomel is making a great point to say that's not your core mandate. We haven't gotten the elections right. What are we looking for with healthcare?
No, I think that's an overreach. The hospital thing is an overreach. But I think the most important point we're all missing is this. A budget of 783 billion. Do you think this government have funded 873? Do you think this government that was supposed to give healthcare 200 and something billion, that funded it with 36 million, do you think they're going to give INEC this money? Do you think INEC has ever gotten all the monies it asked for? Because part of this budget, what you're not also saying, and I'm not holding breath for INEC. I mean, I don't care if you do well, I talk you. If you don't do well, I slam you. That's just me. Part of this budget is for some of the requisition INEC made in the last budget cycle, leading up to 2023 election, that was not fulfilled. So the question we should ask is, let's even have an audit. How much was released for the last election cycle? And let's even know how much was released for this election cycle. I was asking the humanitarian minister, and how much has been released to you so far? He couldn't tell us a definite amount. But that means that there's paucity of funds. Money is not being released. Minister Umahi complained about the same thing. Out of 3 trillion, he only got 700 billion. How do you want him to function? So before we hand INEC and everything, let us at least know how much will be released to them in this envelope system that we are doing. Because if we don't know how much will be released to them, you can just scream at everything at INEC. But INEC will not have the wherewithal.
Yeah, absolutely. Very well said. Very well said. Well, I think we'll continue to digest this budget and details as they emerge. But I think the right position is absolutely that INEC should stick to their core mandate, and let's get further details about how this money is spent. Now, in a separate development, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar on Thursday firmly rejected claims made by the former governor of Ekiti State, Ayodele Fayose, over Fayose stating that a deal was struck between Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde and Atiku for 2027. Now, this comes after reports of a closed-door meeting between Atiku and Makinde at former General Ibrahim Babangida's home in Minna in Niger State on Tuesday. And this has led to questions as to whether this might be a possible arrangement for 2027. Fayose claimed in part in a Wednesday post on X that Makinde agreed to join the ADC on the condition that he will be handed the party's vice presidential ticket as Atiku's running mate, as well as the promise of 10 billion naira. But in a swift rebuttal, Atiku's senior special assistant Frank Shaibu dismissed the claims in a Thursday statement. Shaibu said, in part, Our attention has been drawn to a reckless and malicious fabrication titled Between Atiku and Makinde, untold story of what happened in Minna yesterday, attributed to one Peter Ayodele Fayoshe. Let it be stated clearly, the entire publication is a shameless concoction, a tissue of lies stitched together by a serial purveyor of political gossip, colorful language, whose relevance survives only on controversy, distortion, and cheap propaganda. At no time did former Vice President Atiku Abubakar engage in the imaginary horse trading described in that laughable script. There were no negotiations over vice presidential tickets. There were no discussions about 10 billion naira contributions. There were no zoning manipulations. Atiku Abubakar does not transact politics in secrecy, bribery, or transactional desperation as mischievously and irresponsibly portrayed. Well, it is a long statement and we wouldn't be able to go through it. But in essence, they are dismissing this report that had been made. And of course, the conversation continues to heat up because we know that many people, the popular opinion is that Atiku Abubakar seems to have the ADC presidential ticket in the bag. Some people are saying Obi is the running mate. Now they're saying Makinde. There was a Peter Obi Kwankwanso ticket. So many things floating. Dr. Abati, what do you make of these developments?
All of this is to be expected. The Independent National Electoral Commission has not yet blown the whistle, has not yet released the election timetable. But the expectation is that by May, June, the parties will begin to have their primaries generally. In fact, between March and June. So, in the spirit of the season, you are bound to have a lot of these speculations. You are bound to also see a lot of meetings and a lot of permutations. In fact, if you belong to Party A and you were seen with the daughter of the leader of Party C, some meanings may be read into it. So it's in the nature of politics for this to happen. However, Mr. Fayoshe, former governor, has now said, Governor Makinde of Oyo State going to Minna in the company of Waziri Adamawa to see former President Babangida means that he's on his way to the ADC. One thing to be clarified, or rather another thing, apart from the INEC clarification, is that when we had the sit-down interview with Governor Makinde, which I moderated in Ibadan, he said very clearly that he had no intention of going to another party and that he would rather stay in the PDP to build it up. So what Mr. Fayoshe is saying is quite different from that. However, he says he has evidence and he will provide more details. The major detail that he has provided is to say that there's some kind of horse trading that will see Governor Makinde taking 10 billion naira out of the coffers of Oyo State to go and give to the ADC to run his campaign and to support Waziri Adamawa Atiku Abubakar, whom some people have assumed, it appears, have an entitlement to the candidacy of the ADC, even when that particular political party has not held its primaries. Now, that's why in Oyo State now, there's some kind of turmoil. People are saying, look, where is that 10 billion naira going to come from? So we expect Governor Makinde himself to provide clarification personally, even if his own spokespersons have spoken. Now, the spokesperson of the presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar, Frank Shaibu, he has spoken, but he referred to a fellow known as one Peter Ayodele Fayoshe. He says one Peter Ayodele Fayoshe. So these spokespersons too, they drive their own mischief into it. I don't think any Nigerian will say who is one Ayodele Fayoshe. He exists, and he's a
double check.
he's a major player in the game. But you'll find all of this, back and forth between politicians. But what Nigerians are looking for is that may the best person win the election. May the best persons emerge as candidates at all levels I think we are getting tired of Division 2, Division 3 persons running Nigeria. Ayo is here. She can do a better job instead of
Thank you, Dr.
instead of touts and people of unknown pedigree.
Thank you.
You know, coming forward as coordinators and potential power brokers in Nigeria.
Very quickly, so we can move on. Yeah.
Is that this Division 10 is still the media that propagates them, and they know they are Division 10, but because of their own interest, they propagate them. See, the fight between Ayo Fayose and Makinde has been on for a while. Dates back to the time when they were fighting. They were both in the PDP fighting for who's going to be the leader of the party in the Southwest. All I'm going to say is, as regards this matter, the Atiku camp should be ready, because Ayo Fayose, I don't agree with him on many things. But when in terms of getting his facts right, he brings out his facts. So, you remember how he was the one that let us know that even any amount of money was collected thus far by the Oyo State government as regards the fire incident that happened. It was Oshokomole. So if they know that they are not sure, better they keep quiet. Oshokomole. Bring out your facts. We will live for the Wawulens so that we know what is going on among these people. Yes. Oshokomole, Erumole, don't get jollof rice.
Let me just help you as well, because he gave a 48-hour.
Oshokomole, we bring out the facts.
48 hours has expired, and no apology has been made so far. So we're expecting.
This morning saying that he's just going to leave.
Oh no!
No, Oshokomole, no. You owe it to us as Nigerians to bring out your facts. You say you respect Atiku, but give us violence.
Rufai,
we want to know.
I know you don't believe in violence. Valentine's Day, sorry, but let's let the spirit of love.
The way you are looking forward to this Valentine's.
Dr. Abasi.
We should make it a subject too.
No, we shouldn't.
Let's go to Katsina State for a somewhat strange story, where this week a group of security experts, religious and community leaders met to discuss what they've called a moral emergency, referring to the increase of commercial sex work in the state. During the meeting, participants suggested that the state's economic challenges have left young women the most vulnerable. As a result, stakeholders are now calling on the state government to put in place a social rescue plan, including skills acquisition, a crackdown on traffickers, and state assistance for marriage. Let's take a look.
We have identified the major causes of young girls and women's involvement in prostitution in Katsina State, especially within the metropolis. In my view, government support for marriage among low-income earners will help greatly, as many girls who should be married remain at home because their parents cannot afford it.
Well, the state's Hisba board is charged with enforcing moral codes, is reportedly increasing patrols, but it will likely take addressing root causes such as job creation and economic challenges to see significant impact. Now, this is a real issue. It is a real issue. However, I'm not sure the way it's being addressed is really, do we need to have stakeholders, do states need to sponsor stakeholder engagements to address prostitution at these?
Prostitution is not legalized in Nigeria. It's a felony. However, I don't think that the Nigerian government has shown any commitment in dealing with the challenge of prostitution, which is the oldest profession known to humanity, as described in Mrs. Warren's profession by Bernard Shaw. So this is the biggest profession in the world. Now, in some other countries, there's some form of regulation. But here, where it constitutes a felony, every effort, whether by ISBA or by municipal jurisdictions to deal with it has not worked. The issues raised in that ISBA board seminar in Katsina, they talked about poverty, they talked about parental negligence, they talked about the menace of real estate agents who provide accommodation for prostitutes, they talked about the need for conscientization. Very good points, I think. I read them. They talked about law enforcement. However, how about the men that engage with these people? Do you know that we have a National Association of Prostitutes in this country?
How do you know?
No, it exists. That's it.
You're a journalist.
No.
No, it's not like he's a journalist.
No.
He's a governor at the Night Shift Colosseum.
No, the governor is
Olumese.
Ken Calypso.
Olumese.
Yes.
But you are an observer.
From Ekpoma.
Ekpoma.
The university town of Ekpoma. You know, so you have a national association, and prostitutes in Nigeria have openly defended their rights.
Yeah.
They have, in fact, openly given their votes to presidential candidates in this country. We are waiting for 2027. They will come out and say we are stakeholders. They have a president who is going to speak. So there is a lot of hypocrisy around here, you know, but at the end of the day, the same men who complain about these prostitutes, they are the ones who come in public and say we don't like prostitution, but in the evening, they know what they do. And you know where it's a cross-border operation.
They rob legs.
Do you know?
No, I don't know. Please tell us.
Cross-border.
There's a category in prostitution across the region known as ECOWAS sisters.
ECOWAS sisters.
ECOWAS sisters. Yeah, if you do a lot of nightlife, you will know that this is a very established business until prostitutes will take them to court and insist on their rights because they give these same politicians votes during election time. You just wait and see.
But they even give them more than that. He said possibly services too.
Possibly.
He said votes and services.
You know, when you brought up this story, I said, now this is the real Valentine's story. To be fair to the Katsina State, I think this is a better approach than just demonizing and attacking these women for choosing the life they've chosen. Let's find out the root causes. Why has it increased? Why is there a rise? Is it pointing to the state of the economy? Is it pointing to the fact that a number of them and I've spoken to a number of women who want to come out of it, it's based on economic reasons for many of them. And so if we can fix our nation, because it has other, ripple effects on the economy, whether on family life, on, values and systems in our country. So if we talk about that, then this is a real issue. But they should not go and be marrying all these women. If they don't want to get married because it causes more problem, there's also a rise in domestic violence. But let us find work for our women. Let's find work for the men who are also jobless that Dr. Bati talked about that go at night. And I also think there are also different categories of prostitution, let's say that. Yes. It's the ones on the streets we're talking about. There are some that work in offices and are corporate. So let us talk about that too. So that because it's beyond,
There are some that stay in highbrow areas. Yes. There are some that you see them in private jets. You know.
And there are also men who do this as well. It's not just
it's
women.
only just
they are
women.
Male gigolos. So let's balance it. Let us fix the economic issues.
Slave mama is different from
the best form of system. You address poverty. You will always have prostitutes. It's the oldest profession in the world.
Yes. But I think also a very major point is I hope they don't demonize single girls who are looking to get their own apartments, because there was a part of the conversation about women who live alone. And I think it happens all around. So, I think we also need to be cautious with that. Well, Dr. Abati has already said I'm in the spirit of Valentine's, so we continue. With Valentine's Day tomorrow, a stern warning from the Central Bank of Nigeria is recirculating, with the Apex Bank reminding Nigerians that turning cash into money bouquets and other gifts amounts to naira abuse under Nigerian law. The reminder is backed by Section 21 of the Central Bank of Nigeria Act, which criminalizes the tampering, mutilation, or misuse of banknotes, with penalties including jail for nothing less than 6 months, a 50,000 naira fine, or both. Online social media users have been sharing memes, jokes, and debates over whether cash bouquets will survive Valentine's Day or if Nigerians will switch to safer alternatives. And because of time, let me quickly go to the next one so we can bring everything together. Another Valentine's Day story where a resurfaced clip from one of Apostle Johnson Suleiman's sermons sparked numerous reactions on social media. In the video, Apostle Suleiman of Omega Fire Ministries in Edo State warns men and women not to succumb to the societal pressures of Valentine's Day, but to apply wisdom instead by living within their means. In the clip, he makes it clear that being a boyfriend, girlfriend, or fiancé does not mean you have to inherit your partner's problems. Let's take a look.
In Nigeria, there's no vow this year. How do you want to do for her what her father could not do? Stop carrying people's issue on your head. You cannot be a father to who you did not bet. You can't be a mother to who is not your son. You cannot be a father to a girl that you're about to marry. You are a fiancé, not a father. How How do you want to do for her what her father could not do? You want to inherit the demons that her father saw and avoided. You can't carry a load that is not your own. She comes to you for school fees. If God has blessed you, pay. But if you know you are struggling, pray. By next week now, they say it's Val. Don't stress yourself. Don't take anybody anywhere. There's
Amen. Whoa, worship. Can I get a witness? Oh, Father,
Rufai.
Oh, worship.
Rufai, go
Amen.
and take your tithe to this church.
Amen. I'm catching the rhema. Oh,
Rufai, stop.
oh, I'm catching the flow. Amen. Amen.
Ayo,
We will not buy any Birkin. This is Valentine's season. We will not buy any bouquet of flowers. We will not give any money bouquet like CBS
speech, I
says.
agree.
We will not do anything. We will just
Ayo,
say
help me
happy
call
Valentine's.
NBC.
That's just it. And we keep it moving.
With mouth.
That's just it. With mouths. I will just hug the person with the hug of God and the love of
I'm
God.
going to report this segment to FCCPC.
God
Thank you
bless
very much. Correct.
God bless you.
This particular line to NBC because
God bless
this is
you.
this
God bless
this
you.
amounts
This is against broadcasting
hate speech.
conduct.
God bless
But I
you.
mean, on the first side, I think it's
I love that
important.
Dr. Abati is just observing.
No, Dr. Abati has sorted himself out. Lover man, lover boy. No. All these things are saying is already done. Already done.
He's up to
But
the task.
let me
Doctor, you have done it already. Doctor, you have done it already.
Let me just say, so that people don't misconstrue what we're saying. I can understand the pastor's point that don't take advantage of men. In fact, I've said that this Valentine's Day is for men. And, usually the women talk about receiving gifts, but the men also deserve love, And so let me just say that in defense of the men, let the women go out there and show them love. But and very importantly, Dr. Bat has maintaining a point around love in our country, in our nation, unity. We need love. So it's not just to do things and all that, or to task the men or tax the men. It is actually to just promote love. That's my own side of Valentine's Day. So Rufai, stop saying it's hate speech. Please buy things for your loved ones, including your wife or your husband, and buy things for people around you. Give to the less privileged if you want to. Let the love flow tomorrow.
We will not buy any flower. We will not do any Valentine.
I think the whole idea of Valentine should not be about the commercialization.
God bless you, Dr.
of it.
Abasi.
Should
You
not
are in the
be
spirit.
about the emotional part. But the fact that we need love in this country.
Yes.
We need unity
Yes.
in this
I'm coming
country.
to your church.
And people should show love
Yes.
every day.
Yes.
Not only on February
Valentine.
14th.
And you don't need to give
As for
anything.
Naira plunking, no, bouquet is part of the law.
Yes.
Section 21 of the CBN Act of 2007 says if you treat the Naira badly, that in itself is an offense. We have had two major cases. So treat the Naira with respect.
That's right.
That's what the law says.
That's what the
Already
law
paid
says.
for
But I would
bouquet.
just say respect your Naira.
Take
Spend
your
this
money
money. These men should spend this money. Happy Valentine's Day to you. That's all we've got on What's Trending.
And that's all on today's edition of the Morning Show. Happy Valentine's Day in advance to all Nigerians who must show love and unity and good sex in building this nation.